Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So let's begin inshallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. First of all, it is my pleasure and privilege to be hosting the session tonight, alhamdulillah. On behalf of the Islamic Online University, I would like to extend a very, very warm welcome to all of you. We really appreciate you taking time off your busy schedules to join us today for our webinar, Decision Making the Islamic Way. We all have come across situations in our lives when we are faced with multiple doubts and confusions and find it really hard to come to a firm decision. We keep wondering how we can take concrete actions and decisions that will help us succeed in matters related to the dunya and akhirah. Today, to help us out of situations like these, we have with us Sister Bela Khan. Sister Bela Khan is a certified life coach, speaker, and author. She is pursuing a master in psychology and holds an MPhil degree in microbiology. Furthermore, she is a founder of Muslim Women Empowerment, an institute that empowers women to move past their challenges and lead a life of purpose. Sister Bela is a lifelong learner. She has many certifications in the field of leadership, success, and human behavior from leading institutes of the world. Additionally, she has completed her Bridge Diploma in Islamic Studies from the Islamic Online University, as well as diplomas in Quran, Tafsir, and Hadith course from Pakistan. Her specialty is teaching the concepts of psychology and human behavior in the light of divine principles of Islam. She conducts personal development workshops and training to help people take their lives to next level and become better versions of themselves. Okay, I've already taken so much of your time. I would request now Sister Bela to please take over the mic and begin the session, inshallah. Over to you, Sister.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا زدنا علما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, everyone. All right, let's begin inshallah. Decision making the Islamic way. So let's begin by knowing what are we studying and why is it important, right? So this small quotation says that sometimes it's the smallest decision that can change your life forever. And wallahi, when I read this quote, I remember all these smallest and seemingly meaningless decisions that I made in my life, but they changed my life forever. And I'll start by just sharing a couple of stories from my life. I remember I was 15, 16 years old, and just another teenager and having no idea, absolutely no idea about what religion is, although I've grown up in an Islamic country, but I had no idea what religion was apart from just praying and fasting, right? That's how usually families are even in Islamic countries. So once I was surfing through television channels and I came across a channel where a man was standing and he was explaining the meaning of Suratul Ikhlas in a very, very beautiful manner. So I decided to stay on that channel. I decided not to change the channel. And that decision, very small decision, changed my life, right? My life was no more the same. And then a few years later, I came across an ad of a personal development program, and there was a short description of that program, and I found that really emphatic, really appealing to me. Yes, that's what I want to do. I just, that kind of ad. And I really wanted to participate in the program, but when I looked at the cost of the program, how these personal development, how expensive these programs are. But when I looked at the cost of that program, it made me realize that, man, it was too expensive for me, and I kind of lost hope. But then I decided to write to the organizers and request a discount. And alhamdulillah, they offered and they gave me the discount. And then my life took another great turn after joining that program. Right, so decisions. And I will literally congratulate you because you made a decision to listen to this class. And subhanAllah, some of you are telling me that you are from Indonesia and it's 2 a.m. there in Kuala Lumpur, and subhanAllah, so you are sacrificing your sleep. And it was a great decision. I'm not saying this because it's my class or it's my webinar, but I'm saying this because the information and the content that I'm going to share with you, inshallah, bidnillah, it is going to take you 5 years ahead of those who do not have this information, right? And I'm really grateful to you to allow yourself to have this information. I'm really grateful to you that you chose to choose to come to this class despite this India Pakistan match. And some of my sisters were really upset with me that the timings of this webinar are not right, because this is happening in some part of the world. Okay, so anyway, so decision making, remember, it's an art, it's a skill that we have to learn, just the way we learn any other skill like painting or drawing, right? And it's very important to learn to make great decision. Why I'm saying that? Because people who do not learn it, they will have to figure it out on their own. And when they try to figure it out on their own, it is usually done through trial and error. And it might take them years of failed attempts to figure out how to make a strong decision, right? Our life basically is the product of decision we make. You just think about it. We are making decisions every moment, every single minute. Um, when I say that you might have sacrificed your sleep and you might have sacrificed a good TV program, it means that you have decided that this class is more important to you than than anything else, and that actually differentiated you from people who are like, let's watch the match, or let's maybe we can listen to the recording, or we can listen to the session some other time. Similarly, you decided to wake up for Fajr while someone else they decided to just hit snooze in their alarm. So you decided to take action, and you decided to do something while someone else decided to procrastinate. So decision making is the difference between all the success and failure of in the world, because all the achievement in your career and in your life in general is based upon the decision you're making, right? So good decisions are different from bad decisions, just just the way morning is different from night. It is as important, right? So inshallah, before I really move on, I really feel the need of teaching these skills in the school, right? But they do not teach it. So if you're parents, I would encourage you to teach these skills to your children. If you are teachers, then you can take this presentation from me and teach in any part of the world, right? Teach it to your students so that they become better decision maker. If they choose the right career for themselves, it will, subhanallah, it will take you see, there are students who are studying things that they don't like, and they do not excel. Sometimes somehow they are dragging themselves along the ocean in the flow, and they not really like and enjoy what they are studying. So if they have these tools to make the right decisions and choose good for themselves, then maybe they can excel in whatever field they choose, right? Inshallah. So let's move on. Okay, where are you going? Well, let's start with this little. I don't know how many of you have read Alice in the Wonderland. If you have not read it, it's okay. Please don't waste your time. So it is a part in which there's a cat and Alice. So Alice asked the cat, "Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?" That depends a good deal where you want to go," said the cat. "I don't much care where," said Alice. "Then it doesn't matter which way you go." What does this tell us? See, if you have a bigger vision in life, a bigger picture of life, all you have to do is to fit your small decision into that bigger picture. If that fits in, it's fine. If it doesn't fit in, leave it. Move on. Just choose something else, right? You need to have this. That's the first thing. You need to have a vision in life, a direction in life. Where are you, taking your life? I usually ask people in my seminars, what do you want in life? And they don't have any answer. And I say, what's your vision? They don't have any answer. Even if they have the answer, it's very vague. Who do you want to be? I want to be a good person. What is a good person? I don't know. Who do you want to marry? I want to marry a good brother. I want to marry a righteous, pious brother. And I say, what is the definition of a righteous, pious brother or good brother? They don't know, right? So this is like, you need to. I'll give you another example. I initially studied microbiology. You would have heard in my introduction. At that time, I had no idea of these things. What is a vision, what is mission, and you should have a mission-oriented life and all these things. I knew nothing about that. But when I discovered these stuffs, you need to have a vision, a bigger picture of life, I asked myself, is microbiology helping me any way to pursue my vision? And the answer came out, no. So I changed my path and studied Islamic studies and psychology instead, because that does fit in the bigger picture, right? So you need to ask myself, you need to ask yourself, what is my vision, right? So let's see it in another way. Let's see, maybe I'll give you another example. So let's say let's say my vision is to start. I'll give you the real life example. I cannot make it it's something at this point of time, so I'll give you the real life example. My vision is to start an institute where we teach Quran, Sunnah, Fiqh, along with all the personal development stuff. Right? This is my vision. It is very clear to me. So every decision I make in life, I ask myself, is it going to help me in achieving my vision, or is it going to assist me in my mission? Every course I opt for, everything that even this webinar, I ask myself, is it going to help me to achieve my bigger vision? Is it going to help me to help people? If the answer is yes, then most likely I will do that thing. Decision makings become very easy for me. So the first step is know where are you going? What do you want in your life, right? Let's move on, inshallah. This is a part that I really enjoy. A space rocket. So John Kennedy to Dr. Warner Von Roy. I don't know how to actually pronounce it. The NASA director of Marshall Space Flight Center. So he says, what would it take to build a rocket that would carry a man to moon and return him safely on Earth? Doctor replied, the will to do it. Now, what does this teach us? Have you noticed he didn't say, can we do it? He says, how can we do it? The questions make a great deal of difference, right? So when you say, sometimes, we want to do a degree, or we want to have coaching or something and counseling, and then we say, I cannot afford it. So we encourage our clients to say, rather than saying, I cannot afford it, say, how can I afford it? When you ask better questions, you get better answers, right? If you want to do anything in your life, and the first thing that comes into your mind, because we are surrounded with negativity and we are just fueled with negativity, so the first thing is that we have this negative thought, and then we build on that negative thought. I rather encourage my students to think, how can I do it? So you see, he did not say, okay, what's the budget, how are we going these all these technical things done. He is like, how can we do it? Right? Sometimes you might have come across women, if you're in the field of dawah, if you call them to halaqas and they are like, no, they have a bunch of excuses. But then there is another woman who has a dozen kids to take care of, a husband to pamper, and a house to manage and everything, yet she manages to attend her Quran class and the Quran halaqas. What's the difference? The difference is the decision. One has decided, no matter what, woman, no matter what, I am going to attend my Quran classes, whether I have to cook at 3 a.m. in the night. The other decides to procrastinate. That's the difference, right? So ask yourself better questions when it comes to decision making. Fast versus diet. If you're dieting to lose weight, or if you're fasting for the sake of Allah, in both cases, what you're actually doing, you have decided not to eat. But what's the difference? If you are, if you are dieting and you see a bunch of friends eating chocolate cake, the chances are you might have a bite of it, right? But if you're fasting, no matter even if the entire world is eating around you, would you really take a bite, or would you take a sip of water? You can answer yourselves, the chat boxes. The chat box is turned off. So the answer, of course, is no. So what's the difference? The difference is decision. One decision is for the sake of Allah, and the other decision is maybe for this world. If naturally you can have better reasons to diet, but the decision in dieting is much more powerful than the decision in fasting. Very quickly, there are lots and lots of qualities of a good decision maker, but I'll just touch upon a few because time does not permit me to discuss everything in detail. So qualities of a good decision maker, they have a very strong self-image. So if you do not have a strong self-image, if you're sorry about yourself, if you have low self-esteem, then the first thing that you need to work on is your self-esteem. Have a very powerful image of yourself. I'm unique. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made me unique. I'm powerful. Right? If you do not have healthy self-esteem, then you might rely too much on others to make decisions for you, and that's very harmful, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if you follow majority on earth, they might lead you astray. Right, and we will discuss Shura part later in this presentation, but I'm just telling you that you would rely too much on the so-called experts. So you would rely on other people to make decision for you, and the way you can make your own decision, no one else can do it for you. Right? So do not undervalue your Allah given talents. Do not sell yourself short. Then you have knowing your values. Right? What are values? I'll give you a plain example to make you understand what values are, because this is a very long topic. Right? If you are there in a desert, right, or for that matter anywhere which you don't, or maybe in a jungle or somewhere, and if you have a compass, it will be very easy for you to find your way. You have now GPS and all these things. But if you're in the middle of a desert and you do not have GPS in your car, or if you do not have any compass, then it is going to be very difficult for you to find your way home. Similarly, if you know your values, right, decision making, again, the way you know your purpose, the way you know your vision, mission, it assists you in making decision. Similarly, knowing your values assist you in making great decisions, bidnillah. Right, I wrote an entire book on how as Muslims you can discover your values, because I was really looking for a book that could help me as a Muslim to discover my values, and I could not find any book. So I wrote one myself, and it's different because my values will be different from your values, and there is no one size that fit us all, and it's okay to have different values. It's okay to value different things in life. But again, this is a long topic. Inshallah, if you can grab a copy of my book from my website, that will really help you in discovering your values and becoming a strong decision makers. But if you cannot afford it, please feel free to drop me an email. I will give it to you for free, inshallah. So no strings attached here. All for the sake of Allah, inshallah. Do something worthwhile and important. I kind of touched this in the beginning when I asked you to have a vision. This part is similar, like, right? So you have to see that the decision I'm making, whatever, if I want to become a doctor, an engineer, I want to marry this sister, that sister, I want to buy a car, if this decision is fitting in the bigger picture, if it's a good fit for my ultimate vision, and have strong bond with Allah. Remember, people who make great decisions have a very strong bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala your best friend. Learn to put your trust in Him. Strengthen your bond with Him. I'm just gonna quickly tell you what's the way to strengthen your bond, because I just do not want to talk in vacuum and just leave you like have a strong bond and khalas. No. How do you actually get closer to Allah? The first way to get closer to Allah is offering the faraid. Right? Take care of your faraid and staying away from haram. Then doing lots and lots of the third step is lots of subhanallah, the voluntary acts of ibadah, like charity, pray extra nawafil, do adhkar. These are some of the means to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of people don't want to make their own decisions. They're too scared. It's much easier to be told what to do. And remember, the leaders are those who do not actually take commands from others. They are the people who take decisions. And the followers actually are there. The passive people, they are ready to listen and obey to the commands. And as Muslims, we want to be in the front line, right? We do not want to be, not of course in all the capacity, but in some capacity, we want to lead from the front, inshallah. So decision making, let's come to the subhanallah, the formal process of decision making, the Islamic strategy. So we have the first one is our intellectual approach, second is Shura, third is Istekhara, and fourth is tawakal. Intellectual approach. And this is the step when you seek help from yourself. Oh no, actually you seek help from the intelligence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon you, right? Let me quickly walk you through these steps, inshallah. So this is weighing the options, listing the desired results, listing the undesirable outcomes, assessing the importance of results, prioritizing, and reaching a conclusion. I'll discuss something that I had been struggling with in past, and you can choose anything that you are struggling with, right? You don't have to follow this example, but naturally I had to have an example. You can, maybe you are struggling with your marriage issue or your career or your studies or anything you're struggling with, your job, your maybe the car you want to buy, or you want to move to some other place, or you want to send your children abroad, or anything that you are struggling with. Please, customize this entire process according to whatever struggle you are going through. So I'll give you the example of my daughter's schooling. So my daughter is nearly 4 now. Um, Weighing the options. So what options do I have? Sometimes, we get overwhelmed with the options we have, but it's okay to have too many options, because when you go through this entire process, you will be able to, shorten your list. Your list will, your list will be shortened to a good extent, inshallah. So what options did I have? I had a conventional school system, I had Islamic schools, I had homeschool, and I had the option of unschool. So unschool was very scary for me, so I just, I did not even want to consider it. I just cut it off right away. So now I was just left with 3 options. The second process is listing the desired results. What do I want? What am I trying to get? Right? So just in the cat and Alice story, we learned that you need to know where you're going. You need to keep the end in your mind. Otherwise, you can end up anywhere, right? So you don't want that. So what do I want when it comes to my daughter's schooling? Again, you can customize it as per your situation. If, for example, if you want to marry a brother or a sister, you can say maybe he should be praying 5 times a day, and he should be, fasting, and he should be giving dawah, and whatever you want, you can customize it according to your situation. Or job, or you want to move to a new place, you can say maybe this place needs to have a Islamic school, or this place needs to have a good Muslim community and a masjid. Whatever the desired results are for you. I hope this is clear, inshallah. So what do I want? I wanted that she comes out of the school filled with the love of Allah and His Messenger. That was my top priority, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I wanted her to graduate at a young age. I did not want her to study her whole life, so I wanted her to graduate early. Early admission in an Islamic university, and have a strong halaqah of pious Muslim friends. So a man is known by the company he keeps, and Prophet ﷺ, he also encouraged us to have good company. That's why I'm very concerned about the people she hangs out with, and she will hang out in future. And I also want her to become an eloquent speaker, because that will be needed for dawah purpose, right? Listing the undesirable outcomes. So sometimes we know what we want, and we don't know what we do not want. This step is very important, because sometimes this steps gives you more clarity than the previous steps. So you also need to list down that what are the things that you are avoiding. So maybe if you're thinking about moving to a new place, you would say that, okay, I don't want this place to sell alcohol openly, or maybe any other thing like that, right? So what I did not want her to have crack in aqidah, right? I just want her to have very sound aqidah, because that's the basis of the religion. I did not want work overload for her and for myself, and I did not want her to have bad company. Now, assessing the importance of results. Now I have a bunch of lists, and I don't know which one is more important to me. So now I'll just use again my wisdom, my sagacity, my God-given intelligence to find out which one of these is most important to me, and which are the points that I can somewhat compromise on. Right? So, for example, come out of school filled with the love of Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That was uncompromisable. 10. On the scale of 1 to 10, I will give it 10. Right? Am I audible? Banuka, can you, anyone from the organizers can let me know? Yeah?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, I just read a comment and I just got concerned. That was uncompromisable for me. Graduate at the age of 13, yes, that was also very important, because naturally I don't want her to spend the rest of her life studying. Easily get admission in an Islamic university, of course, that's also very important. And have a strong halaqah of pious Muslim friends. Again, that is uncompromisable. Why? Because your friends actually guide you, right? al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi, that a man is on the deen of his friend. So this is again very important. Became an eloquent speaker. Yes, this is an important, but somewhat it's okay, right? This is just needed for this. Okay. Then what the next step is prioritization. I will put all the things, my desired results, in the options available, right? Now I'm going to put all these 5 6 desired results into conventional school system. I'm going to put it in Islamic school, and then I'm going to put it in homeschooling and see which one works the best. Now conventional school system, the kind of schools we have around, come out of the school filled with the love of Allah and His Messenger, very unlikely. No offense, please, but very unlikely. The kind of school system that we have, the religion is the last thing. Even in Islamic countries, they just have one Islamic studies period and khalas. Graduate at the age of 13? No, they will make you graduate at the age of maybe 23, 24, and that's way too long, man. Especially for men, I believe that's way too long. At this time, they should be able to support a family. Easily get in an Islamic university again. Wallahu alam. Have a strong halaqah of pious Muslim friends. Again, very unlikely. Become an eloquent speaker. Yes, you might become an eloquent speaker more than it is needed, maybe. And crack in Aqidah, there are 100% of chances of having crack in Aqidah or not knowing about Aqidah at all. And work overload for me, no. Maybe they can teach the stuff themselves, and they'll not be much work overload for me. Islamic school. Islamic school, come out of the school filled with the love of Allah and His Messenger. Yes, very likely. Graduate at the age of 13, not very likely, because I don't know of much Islamic school which are focusing on, helping children to graduate early. Easily get admission in an Islamic university. Yes, most likely. Halaqah of pious Muslim friends, again, most likely. Eloquent speaker, I'm not sure. Crack in Aqidah, yes, very less chances of that, and work overload for me too. That was Islamic schooling. Then comes the homeschooling. Come out of the school or out of the home filled with the love of Allah and His Messenger. Yes, 100%, because that's what I'm going to be focusing on in the first place before anything else. Graduate at the age of 13. Yes, most likely, because that's how I'm going to design her curriculum. Easily get admission in an Islamic university. Wallahu alam. Have a strong halaqah of pious Muslim friend. No, most probably no, because homeschooling kids are normally raised in somewhat in isolation. They do not get to hang out as much with their friends or as much the children of their age as other children, right? Become an eloquent speaker, again, I'm not sure if I'd be able to inculcate this in her or not. Crack in Aqidah, 0% chances, not at all. And work overload for me, then may Allah help me, it's going to be a lot. Unschooling, as I said, so this is how you assess the result, right? So you can put any example and work out this way. So conclusion. Now I'm going to write conclusion for all these things based on the numbers, the values on a scale of 1 to 10, whatever values that I have assigned to them. So might not be very hectic for me, but doesn't deliver what I'm looking for at all. Conventional school system, khalas, it is out of my list. Homeschooling might deliver what I want, but will be very hectic for me because I lack the experience, and she did not get a good peer group. Islamic school delivers what I want and looks like the best option. So if I ever come across a good Islamic school, I will send my daughter to that school, but at the moment I'm homeschooling, right? So that's how you use your intellectual approach. Can we turn on the chat for a while and see if people are following me? Sister Banuka, is it possible to turn on the chat for a while? Journaling. Now, I would request not to do this in your head because that's impossible. Write it down. This entire process, writing is mandatory. Sister, can we turn on the chat? Is it doable from my side?
I have switched on the chat. People need to type in and chat.
Okay. So following? Okay. Lovely. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So good so far? The name of my book is Know Thy Values, Know Thyself. So, journaling, very important for you to write everything down and do not do these things in your head because that is not possible. You can never reach, I have to go fast. I don't have any other option. Yes, you have to jot it down, right? Because writing has some sort of power associated with it. Just come to think of it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by qalam in Quran. So there's something very magical with writing, right? When you write it down, when you put all your thoughts on a paper, you are able to read it yourself. And trust me, whenever I have tried to do all these things in my head, it has backfired in a very bad way. But subhanallah, when you really do it, when you write it down, it becomes so very easy, right? So journaling is going to really help you rather than doing all these things in your head and just messing up with your neurons. Okay, I hope you will take a pen and paper while you're doing this, inshallah. What happened? Oh, I don't want it to stop. Bismillah. Okay, done. Khalas, you have. So, for example, I have reached a conclusion that I might try homeschooling, right? Because despite Islamic school looks like the best option, where I live, there's no Islamic school of that type available. So, next step, I'm going to do Shura. Shura is seeking experts' advice, right? Seek the opinion of a knowledgeable person, any expert, any mentor regarding this, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Quran, if you do not know, then go ask someone who knows, right? Ask the people of ilm. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Quran regarding Shura, and those whose affair is determined by consultation among themselves, right? Who do Shura, who take someone else's suggestions. Now, I really want you to focus. See, Prophet ﷺ, it's a sunnah to do Shura. Yeah, he took the advice from Salman Farsi radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he also sought Shura from different companions at different times, right? So that is a sunnah way. Remember, Prophet ﷺ, he did not need anyone's advice. He was getting revelations directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did not need to ask someone, let me know if I should have a trench or not. I just believe that he did this to set an example for us, right? There are lots and lots of lessons naturally hidden in Sunnah. So I'll add a tangent here that this prophetic way, the Sunnah, Sunnah of Shura, it also gives us a leadership lesson, right? That when you are in leadership position, then it is very important for you to consult your people, your followers as well, because that actually gives them a sense of importance, that actually sort of increases their self-esteem, and this also makes them love you more, right? Because you are taking their suggestions, and that's why companions, out of millions of reasons and countless reasons that companions love Prophet, that was one of the reasons that he consulted them. And the lessons that we actually get from this is that taking advice as a sunnah, that's the first thing. Then second thing is that seeking experts' advice is important. Someone who is experienced. So Salman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was experienced. The people of Medina, they had absolutely no idea of what a trench is, right? How do you dig it? So but the others, so Prophet ﷺ took advice from those who knew. So again, take my example for my daughter's homeschooling. I will go to a sister who is religious, plus who has some older kids and who is doing homeschooling. Sister, can you check your mic? I think it's open. I can hear something. Okay. Next slide, please. Let me see what's there. Okay. In Islam, majority is not authority. When I say that you have to go to an expert for the advice, then remember you don't have to go to everyone, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يُضِلُّوكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, that if you follow the majority who are on earth, then they are going to lead you astray. They are going to mislead you from the way of Allah. إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ, that they do not follow anything but assumptions. وَإِنْهُمْ إِلَّا يَخْرُصُونَ, and they are not doing anything but they are falsifying, right? So you have to go to someone who is expert. And remember, not everyone is expert in everything, right? Some people would be expert in telling you which car to buy. Naturally, you wouldn't want to go to an imam to ask which car should I buy, right? But for religious issues, you would go to an expert. For, you know, happiness and bliss in marriage, you would go to somebody who is having a blissful marriage, right? Can we have the next slide, please? So everybody is, so I would recommend that prefer people who are expert in their field, and especially those who are spiritually focused. They have God consciousness, so they would not go and, you know, divulge a secret. You know what, you know, brother Sadek, he's going to buy a car. No, he should keep it to himself. Story of Sister X, very quickly. I had this client. She was divorced and she was looking to get married, and her parents were divorced, right? They were non-Muslims, they were divorced, and they were constantly bombarding her with you know, suggestions and advices that she should hang out with someone. So now the parents are constantly bombarding her with the advice that you should hang out with the person, and you should see for 1 year if he's a good suit, a good match for you or not. So now the parents are constantly again advising her. So what I told her is that, you know, you should never seek advice from the people who are failure in that particular field, right? So if my parents are not practicing Muslim, I would never go to them to seek help or advice on any religious matter, no matter how much I love them. That has nothing to do with my love, right? I'll not seek their opinion. I'll seek opinion of an expert. So if I'm looking to get married, I will go to somebody who is, you know, if my parents are not religious enough, they'll say, okay, stop doing hijab, stop doing niqab, you're going to get a good person. But that's not what I want, right? Again, Prophet ﷺ discussed the plan of Battle of Uhud with some companions. They were new in Islam, and they said, no, we are going to, you know, fight near Uhud and all these things. So Prophet ﷺ actually didn't want to, but they fought outside Medina, and you know whatever happened in the Battle of Uhud. So right, it was a big setback for Muslim. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet that you will follow whatever they say, they are going to lead you astray. So remember, whatever situation you are going through, according to that situation, choose the person, right? Not everybody is worth taking advice from. All right, can we have the next slide, please? All right. It is hard to imagine a more stupid or more dangerous way of making decisions than by putting those decisions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong. Next slide, please. Alright, Istekhara, this is my super favorite step. Istekhara is to ask for help, right? That's the literal meaning of Istekhara. Now, before I move on, you have to keep in mind that there are two different opinions that we get from ulama when it comes to this step, right? One group of ulama say that, you know, when you have reached a conclusion, then perform istikhara, because the dua of istikhara, it doesn't speak about choosing one option, right? It just talks about seeking Allah's help in whatever you have decided. So for example, if you want to do homeschooling, you must reach a conclusion before this step. Shura should help you to reach a conclusion, and then do istikhara, and, you know, sort of make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ask if that's good for me or not. Then there's another group of ulama, scholars. They say that when you are left with, say, a couple of options, one or two options, homeschooling, Islamic schooling, this brother, this car, that car, moving to, you know, States or Canada, then you should perform istikhara, right? Should I do or this or that? So these are the two group of ulamas, and their opinion, both are reliable, and both groups are you know, reliable. So inshallah, you can take whichever sound better to you. I have given you both the opinions, and inshallah, whatever makes more sense to you, you can go for that, right? So istikhara, let's come to this. It literally means to seek khair. Inshallah, can we have the next slide? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'll share the hadith video. I'll just read it out. So narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah, he says the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to teach us the way of doing istikhara in all matters, as he taught us the surahs of Quran. He said, if any one of you thinks of doing any job, he should offer 2 rakah prayer other than the compulsory compulsory prayer and say the dua. That this dua, inshallah, you can see in your screen. I'll quickly read the dua. Allahumma inni astakhiruka bi'ilmika wa astaqdiruka biqudratika wa as'aluka min fadlika al-azim fa innaka taqdiru wa la aqdiru wa ta'lamu wa la a'lamu wa innaka anta allamul ghuyub. Allahumma in kunta ta'lamu anna hadha al-amr, and then you have to put your need in the place of hadha al-amr. خير لي في ديني ومعاشي وعاقبة أمري أو عاجل أمري وآجله فاقدره لي ويسر لي ثم بارك لي فيه وإن كنت تعلم أن هذا الأمر أمر, again you have to put your need. شر لي في ديني ومعاشي وعاقبة أمري أو عاجل أمري وآجله فاصرفه عني واصرفني عنه واقدر لي الخير حيث كان ثم أرضني به. Or there are slightly different versions of this dua found in this book. Inshallah, you can have a look at it. Can we have the next slide, please? I'll quickly read the translation for you. So, O Allah, I seek that which is good from you by means of your knowledge. So this is super beautiful dua. If you can memorize it, wallahi, that's going to save you the trouble of pulling out the book from your pocket every time. This is super awesome. And I seek the ability to do what I have to do by means of your power. Imagine when you're saying I have to do it with the help of your power, how awesome that that job is going to be. And I ask from you your great blessings, because you have the power and I don't have the power. And you know everything and I do not know everything. And you have the knowledge of unseen. O Allah, if in your knowledge this action which I intend to do, whatever you have to put the name of that in action, is better for my religion and my faith, for my family and death, and for here in this world and the hereafter, then make it destined for me and make it easy for me, then add blessings in it for me. O Allah, in your knowledge, if this action is bad for me, bad for my religion and faith, my life and end, that is death, for my here in this world and the hereafter, then turn it away from me and turn me away from it. And whatever is better for me, ordain that for me and then make me satisfied with it. So this is such a comprehensive, beautiful law. Give me what is good for me, take away something if it is bad for me, and then when you give me this new things, make me satisfied with it. This is so very important. Make me satisfied with it. Because a lot of times we want to marry a brother or a sister and we somehow do not get it and we just lose hope and the entire world is, the entire world crushes right before our eyes and things happen. So when you read this dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a sort of satisfaction, sakina in your heart, right? I just can spend the entire night talking about this dua. I love it so much. So again, I would highly encourage you to memorize this dua, because you don't have the book all the time, but you do need to make istikhara all the time. So the question is, when do you actually make istikhara, or can you actually do istikhara? Some people think that istikhara is just for marriage matters, right? Nothing else. That's not true. Istikhara is for every matter that you want to seek khair in. And then of course there are matters for which there is no istikhara. So when you do not do istikhara in the matter of faraid, you just don't go and I'll do istikhara. Should I offer my salah or not? No, you have to offer your salah. No istikhara in faraid. Again, no istikhara when it comes to preventing yourself from haram. Should I work in a bank or not? Should I drink alcohol or not? No istikhara in these matters. These are haram. You don't have to do it, right? When do you actually do istikhara? Personally, when I am making big decisions in life, I follow this formal way of doing istikhara. Right? The formal way is, you offer to nafil, and apart from the fourth prayer and not in the forbidden sa'a. After that, praise Allah, send blessing on Prophet ﷺ, and recite the dua of istikhara. This is the formal way. The informal way, when you're making small decisions, standing maybe in a shop and deciding if you should buy this headscarf or not. You just can do it, adding pepper in the new recipe or not. You can do it for anything, buy the new handbag or not. Just recite the dua and it will help, inshallah. It has helped me a great deal. I keep reciting this dua all the time and whatever decisions I'm taking, right? Next slide, please. So that is, istikhara is just like, that is my, I'll skip this slide. Let's move on to the next slide. We're lagging behind time. This is okay. So exercise is just like a muscle. When you exercise, your muscles become more stronger. Similarly, the more istikhara you will do, the more clarity you will gain, and the more confident you become in making decisions. Some people are like once or twice they have made istikhara. Istikhara doesn't work for me. Well, it will not work for you if you are not, actually putting an effort to it. Just do it again and again, so that inshallah you become confident in that. Letting go, this is again very important part. I just read the highlighter part because I do not have enough time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran that but perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing that is bad for you, and Allah knows while you know not. So after you have made istikhara and you have reached a conclusion that so and so thing is not good for you, you wanted to marry a sister and this was not good for you, and turns out she was a she was not a good fit, let it go. Don't just take it too hard. Don't let your whole world come crumbling right in front of your eyes. If you let go, you are actually opening your hands for something better. If you do not let go, it's just like clenching your fist. You are not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I want to give you something better. You're like, no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want to stick to my decision when it is bad for me. Right? No, open your hands for something better. Let it go so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can replace it with something better. And trust me, every time I have let something go, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me something better. Something better. Always, always. I can say this with full confidence. And finally, let's have the next slide. Sister, we don't have much time. I'll just wind it up. And finally, istikhara takes tawakkul. A lot of tawakkul. And whenever I have come across a lot of people talking about decision making, why I don't know why do they forget this part, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, فَبِرَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ, this is the same yeah, لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ فَاعْفُ عَنْهُمْ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ وَإِذَا أَذَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. So this is the part. فَإِذَا أَذَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Then whenever you have decided, then put your reliance on Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُتَوَكِّلِينَ. That if you have put your reliance on Allah, if you have said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have burned all my ships and now I just count on you to guide me, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can never misguide you. Never ever. And that's the whole gist of this entire presentation. Learn to put your trust in Allah and Allah will guide you, inshallah. In this last slide, I hope this was beneficial, and inshallah you can never progress in any area of your life without making decisions. So decide now. We will I'll hand over the mic to you, Sister Banuka. Jazakallah khair. I hope it was beneficial.
Indeed, it was an amazing session, Sister Bela, with a lot of practical examples. Jazakallahu khair. I hope the session was beneficial to all of you as well, inshallah. Okay, so now we open to questions. I request all the guests to please type in their questions in the chat box. Please note that we won't be taking any fiqh-related questions. The questions will be answered on first-come, first-served basis, inshallah. So type out your questions and keep them ready.
What is your advice for the girls who wish to gain confidence and self-image? There are, again, certain you can read books and you can attend the courses for self-image, for these subhanallah, these are meant for increasing the self-esteem and all these things. But I'll quickly share 2 tips with you. These are the ultimate self-boosting and confidence-boosting tips. First thing, know your vision, know what you want to do in life. And second thing, take small steps daily to add something to that vision, right? So for example, you want to become a da'i, a very eloquent da'i. So set small goals for yourself. Maybe you cannot stand on stage on the first day and give dawah to the entire world. Maybe you can start by giving dawah to your neighbor, right? So this little thing will build up, and inshallah you'll be able to increase your and boost your self-esteem, inshallah. So do we have to make dua of istikhara every day, even though? No, sister, why would you make you have to make it in certain, when you are making certain decisions, right? So you have to make this dua when you're taking any decision in the life, and every day we are constantly taking decisions, right? I'm in the process of an issue now, having a difficult problem to solve. Can I make istikhara? Yes, you can make istikhara for sure. There are, again, if you're in confusion, some of the ulama says you can make a decision in a confused state, while some say that you have to reach a conclusion. So inshallah, whatever sounds better to you, inshallah, you can go ahead for that. Is there a best timing for praying istikhara? This is a fiqh question. Can one propose to a lady who's in divorce? Again, fiqh question. I'm sorry, even if I don't know the answer, I will not answer because, subhanallah, I'm not an authority on fiqh. How can we have your book on decision making? Inshallah, I'm in the process of writing this book. Once I've finished writing this book, I will share it with everyone, inshallah. How can one decide whether to choose one job out of few available when each job is outside and takes me away from my parents? Again, so sister Shameen or brother Shameen, you have to list down how important it is for you to do a job and how important it is for you to live with your parents, right? Then when you know, list down all these things and assign a value to that and results to results that you're desiring, results to avoid, all these, if you go through this process, inshallah, it's going to help you a lot. And eventually at the end of the day, remember to put your tawakal on Allah. If you know, staying with your parents is more important if they are, subhanallah, if they are old. And remember, Prophet ﷺ also instructed a companion to stay home, not to go on jihad, because the parents were, subhanallah, they were either old or they were ill. So remember, Allah is Razak, He can give you risk anywhere. So you have to see what is your fard. If it's a part of your fard to take care of your parents, then again, you are smart to decide for yourself. When do we let go of decisions we made? Where there's a line between patience and letting go. You should, you know, again, this is subjective. This is different for everyone. So you see that, you know, maybe you wanted to marry a sister and she got married to someone else. So naturally, you don't have to be patient anymore. You have to let it go, right? So this is subjective. It's different for everyone. What if I'm still unclear about what to do after praying istikhara? Should I? Yes, please. Istikhara should definitely lead to a decision, inshallah. Is there a way of doing istikhara from Quran? The istikhara comes from authentic ahadith. I don't know. No, it's not in Quran. What is the name of the book? Ustad, I mentioned which book? Know your values, know thy values, know thyself. That's maybe I mentioned. Make a video presentation, inshallah. The organizers can shed light on this. Can you list the steps for decision making? They are listed. My question is how to combine my life studies. This is off the topic, sister. But that's doable. Family studying and Islamic studies, nothing is impossible. If you have made the decision, there are a lot of people doing it, even I'm doing it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you a lot of potential and you can do it all if you have the will to do it. I very got me problem for kids education, but I have to work, so Sister, can you rephrase your question? I couldn't understand it. You want to teach your kids and you're working, that's what the problem is? How to stop asking for advice of a friend who is sometimes not an expert? Please don't ask them. That's the best way, not to ask them. I'm sorry. The steps are listed, inshallah. You can listen to the recording. I make decision and when I see it's not happening, I let it go. Quit smoking, but every time I think about it, it feels it's helping me to lower my income. No, so, brother, see, there are some things that you need, if they're organic, then you need to go to experts, right? You have to see a doctor, you have to see some physical or some specialist to help you quit smoking. I would say it is a decision, but you know, again, speaking from a therapist point of view, just giving off and giving up on quitting smoking cold turkey can lead to other problems as well. So you have to go to someone who is expert in the matter, who can, you know, gradually help you to quit smoking rather than just making a decision one day. It might help, but physically speaking, that can backfire. So inshallah, following these decision making steps and seeking help from Allah in everything, you also need to consult an expert. Sister Zainab, I got your question, inshallah. You have these steps listed in the presentation. What books do you recommend for decision making? So I have a question according to your presentation. Why should we make intellectual approach first instead of taking religious approach? Yeah, intellectual approach is also a religious approach. You're using your wisdom, your God-given talents, right? And why is it important? Because you have to know yourself what you want rather than, you know, going to someone to seek Shura and you don't know what you actually want. right? So I should know that I want to work in this part of the world or that part of the world, and then I should go and ask someone that, you know, whether I should go there or here, or what makes more sense to me, right? So if I had not taken the intellectual approach, I wouldn't ever know that conventional schooling and homeschooling and unschooling are not an option for me, right? So first you have to know yourself that what you want, and then you can go ahead and take shura and religious consultations. Jazakallah khairan was a beautiful article. Inshallah, I wrote all of the points. Will make use of it. Ameen, Ya Rab. Please make dua for me. My question is that with regards to Istekhara, do you expect to feel anything? No fake questions, please. In the that case of doing, should you wait for an answer for Istekhara, or should you? The name of my book is, I have told earlier, Know Thy Values, Know Thyself. How can we be sure of our decisions without feeling regret after making a decision? That's what the last part of this presentation was, sister. When you have made a decision, that put your trust in Allah. The rest is His job. Mine is not connecting well. Can anyone tell me? No Istekhara for something. If a person has only one choice of doing job and bank to get bread and butter for his and her dependents, what should he do? So who decided that that brother just has one option? You know, I always say that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is letting you, you know, earn your rizq through haram means in this world, and if you want to switch to a halal means, and if you want to be obedient to Allah, why wouldn't Allah help you? Right? If He is giving you rizq, and if you have opted for haram means, and you are getting rizq for from haram means, and if you want to switch to halal means and be obedient to Allah instead of being disobedient, why wouldn't Allah help you? Why wouldn't Allah give you rizq? So that this is where we need to put our trust in Allah more, right? We are so scared of giving up on our jobs that, oh my God, if I leave this job, my dependents are going to die. No, they will not. Allah is the Raziq, right? And then again, you have this entire decision-making process to take decisions. Inshallah, I can again go on this. There are so many ways to earn your rizq, right? The world is not going on crisis, food crisis, or anything like that. You have so many ways to earn your rizq, inshallah. How do we teach our children to get used to Islamic decision making in their affairs? You can teach this entire presentation to them. How do we know if we made the wrong decision? Why do you want to make a wrong decision in the first place? Can I join BM? Okay, you can join even if you are 155, right? We are open, we welcome you, we really honor your decision of, you know, equipping yourself with knowledge at this age, Sister Natasha. We would love to have you and be bachelor's in, or bridge, that is BMIS's bridge, yes, inshallah. I know my students were, even they were 65 or nearly 70, so I'm very happy with this age group, alhamdulillah. Do we have to do istikhara ourselves or make? No. Istekhara is a very personal thing. Again, I don't want to answer this question, but yes, you have to do istekhara yourself. If you want to have a copy of my book, you have to email me. I'm sorry, it will be very hard for me to remember all these email addresses. Sometimes you make a decision within a short time because of time pressure and great regret. What advice do you? So again, you know, there are some decisions that you have to make on spot, right? So for example, you want to buy this thing or not. Small decision, right? So these are the decisions which are rather not that, you know, lifelong. They do not have the lifelong effect or something. So that's where you can recite the dua, inshallah. I want to know if it's fine to do istikhara dua after. No, you have to follow the procedure. It has to be another nafil prayer. Are you homeschooling? I'm homeschooling and I love homeschooling. I don't want to hand over my daughter to the system. Inshallah, when she grows up, she's going to join Islamic Online University. Apart from that, I'm homeschooling. You can avoid being overtaken by regret. That's why, you know, that's the last part actually talked about regret. When you have made the decision, khalas, give it to Allah, leave it on Allah, right? That's the tawakal part is very important. I think I have almost, when we get the recording, decide we can't get, oh, I think I've addressed more or less all the questions, right? That's it. Sister Banuka, Jazakumullah khairan kaseera. If this was beneficial for you, please make dua for me. Remember, anything good in this presentation was from Allah alone. I take no credit whatsoever. And if there was anything wrong, that was either from myself or from shaitan, may Allah forgive me for this. And Jazakumullah khairan kaseera for attending this webinar. That means a lot to me. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Bela. That was truly, truly inspiring. With this, we come to an end to today's webinar. I would like to thank you very, very much for your active participation. I hope and pray that you enjoyed and benefited immensely from this session. We will meet again next month with a new topic, inshallah. Till then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. 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 Barakatuh.